Because my parents thought it was cheating, and cheating is a sin.
Yeah. Sonic Adventures on Crappy Games Wiki.
The derailing of your own story within your story. Welcome back to Off the Air.
The only podcast where neither host has their voice.
What if we just did an entire podcast, not episode, but series, featuring exclusive silence? Like, we just didn't talk.
I feel like
every week we just put out an hour of silence.
That's like John Cage to the next level, but also it would be so boring. Would we?
Yeah, like that's the thing. There's no.
Would we like sit
value
here in
it even as a bit.
silence and still like you'd hear like little like desk noises, like my computer humming, breathing? Would you still hear all that?
Yeah, like we're still here and recording. It's not like we're just like generating silence in Audition and sending it out. Like we're doing it. Like we're doing the silence.
I enjoy the idea of at some point one of us would like forget what we're doing and pull up like TikTok, and then that would be the only time someone would talk and be like, "Hey, put that away."
Yeah, it's just like a POV new podcast.
Oh God, what a miserable podcast that would be.
I barely even know where to begin. So in a New Yorker profile, Donald Glover...
And just like quiet audio in the background from us doing other things.
You know what?
Speaking of quiet audio in the background, I had a weird ghost experience.
Oh?
Yeah.
Do tell.
In a way, it was really strange.
Did it steal your voice?
No, I wish. That'd be maybe. Who knows? The other night I was just like, boo. Did I scare you? Were you already scared?
I was a little scared by that.
I knew it. So the other night I was, it was really hot inside the house.
Yeah.
But it was like cold outside, so I didn't want to turn the air on and change, because then it would just be too cold inside. So I just was like, I'll go outside for a bit and cool down myself. And so I was sitting on these chairs out by like the bank out back from my house, and I was just sitting there. And it was probably like 15 minutes. I started just like, I was on my phone just like scrolling through like TikTok or Tumblr, and out of nowhere, like it felt like someone came like right up into my ear and just blew in it.
Oh.
And it's like there's like not a lot of wind out, and I didn't feel it anywhere else in my body. It was just like in my ear, and like I was zoned in like watching a video, and it like jarred me out, and I was like, huh? And it was like absolute like dead silent out, like no wind, no noise, and I was like kind of bugging a little bit. So I got chills everywhere, and I was like, that's really strange.
No, yeah, that's definitely weird.
Really weird. So then I was like, hello?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is anybody there? And I was looking around, didn't see anything. And I was like, oh, that's kind of spooky. That's some, like, ghost shit right there. So then I was like, well, I mean, I guess if you don't want me here, do it again. And then it happened again right in my face.
Well, shit,
like, immediately.
Dude.
Like, I didn't even finish saying the sentence. So then I left.
Incredibly uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was the weirdest shit I've ever experienced. And, like, I guess it is that time of year where it's, like, there's cold fronts coming in and the temperature changes.
Yeah.
But, like, so, like, there are random gusts of wind and stuff.
But still,
the timing was uncouth.
The timing is honestly, it's really impressive.
It was genuinely the most scared I think I've ever been of something outside of, like, outside of a genuine physical danger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I mean, those metaphysical dangers, they really do hit a lot harder than I'd like to think that they do.
Yeah, and it's like I've never experienced anything like that before,
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And I still don't really believe in that kind of stuff. I'm still very skeptical.
Oh, yeah.
But it was a really weird experience that I don't really have an explanation for because it wasn't windy otherwise.
Oh, that's the worst. Yeah,
and then Jib went to the window when I came inside and was like making a weird noise at it.
Oh,
I
don't like
why
that.
now? And then like he's never done this before. Because usually he only sits with me when I'm like at my desk. Like if I'm at my desk on the couch, he'll come like sit on my lap and like nudge up against me. But he doesn't do it when I'm on my bed. And I was laying down on my bed right afterwards, and he's never done this. But he like came and sat on my chest. And I was like, why are you acting so strange? And he hasn't done it since.
I don't like.
I mean, he might have also just been able to tell I was scared.
That is very possible.
Yeah, it was a super weird experience.
Damn. Well, that's fun.
Yeah, it was just like right outside my house, too. So like, I wish it was like a haunted asylum or something. No, it's just outside.
Just at your own home. No big deal. Oh, God, I hate that.
You see any ghosts?
Nope, can't say I have, if we're being honest.
Not even the ghost of a friend's band?
Nice, very nice.
Thank you, thank you.
I did see
Transition.
not the ghost of a friend's band, but I saw the death of a friend's band. R.I.P. Wasted Info. Apparently they've been doing stuff for like 9 years now. I did not know that, but they've been playing as a group in some form or another for a very long time. And it's, we finally hit the point where it's time for them to end, because the singer, who is, not to besmirch the good work of everyone else in the band by any means, but the
Hate 'em all.
singer is, the guitarist, singer, writer, and her voice is unique, so it would be hard to replace someone that would bring the same energy. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So the band is moving on and everything, and they had the RIP Wasted Info show on Saturday. I was lucky; I didn't work, so I went, and man, it was a good time. But my voice is still not back yet. It has been 2 days, and some would say, "Well, Noah, are you sure that you're not sick?" And I'm like, "Well, I gotta be honest, I could be. My voice definitely doesn't sound like a guy who's healthy, and Nina's not feeling too hot, but also." As far as I know, I'm not sick.
See, I also am not feeling so good.
Mm-hmm.
And I also worked with Nina for a few days.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible I made Nina sick and Nina made you sick.
Distinctly
It's also
possible.
entirely possible that you were at a concert, and I'm sure it, notorious for the spread of germs.
I mean, everyone knows concerts are very healthy places. No one's yelling and spitting everywhere, and no one making a lot of noise. And when you drink, it definitely makes you less susceptible to getting sick.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like if I have a couple beers in me
Mm-hmm.
and I start coughing on people, that's like they'll be all right.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and really, if anyone gets sick, it's got to have something to do with factors outside of that.
Thank you. I'm so glad you're so brave for saying that, because that is the
What do
most true
you-
thing.
What are your thoughts on Northern Lions 80-20 rule for people who get everyone sick? For instance, like 20% of people get 80% cause 80% of the sickness.
I gotta be honest, I do believe that that's probably pretty accurate.
I think it's one of those things where, it's kind of like after COVID, people be like, oh, you gotta always like wash your hands after you go to the bathroom. I'm like, yes, but
Yeah, but
not because of coronavirus.
yeah, because we
Because
all should have always been doing that. It's
you haven't been washing your hands.
the number of people that just like cough into their open hand, like just
Yeah.
cough into your
Dude,
elbow.
the number of adults that just be coughing into the air. Like, what are you, a 4-year-old?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like there's just like the subsect of the population just made of like assorted people who are like not as that necessarily like unhygienic. I mean, it kind of is what it boils down to, but like just inconsiderate, I think is maybe a
Oh,
better
yeah.
word for it. Like they just don't think that like they're getting people sick. But you probably are the one getting everybody sick.
Like, we don't wear masks at work anymore, but we also still have those like big plastic dividers set up. And I gotta be honest,
Yeah.
I don't want those to ever go anywhere. Because I get people that come in the line and they just keep hacking and coughing at me. And it's like, my guy, even if we weren't like in the knock on wood tail end of the big old pandemic, please don't cough at me. Like,
Yeah,
at
it's
least do
just
me the
rude.
favor of coughing into your coat or something. Like, cough into your collar, cough into your elbow, turn to the side and cough into the air. At least is like common courtesy. Don't cough in my direction just because there's a big piece of plastic there.
It's also one of those things where, I mean, not to say that COVID isn't like severe, because it obviously is and can be for many people.
Oh, yeah.
But like, I hate when I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm sick and I've been sick for a couple of days, and then I'll be like, people will be like, oh, you sure it's not COVID? I'm like, yeah, I've tested negative multiple times now. I don't have like most of the big symptoms. I can still taste and smell fine. I just am sick. And they'll be like, oh, well, that's good. I'm like, I mean, it's good in that I don't probably have COVID.
It's good
but I'm
because you don't
still
have
sick.
COVID. Yeah.
Like, and also, like, I'm still contagious, so it's weird to me that, like, if I'm like, oh, I'm sick, but it's not COVID, people be like, okay, that's fine, you can still come into work. But if you're like, I'm sick, but it is COVID, they're like, you could never come into work. I'm like, well, maybe we just shouldn't be like, oh, it's probably fine as long as it's not the one thing that we're actively looking out for. We should just not be like, it's okay, come on in.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it pisses me off. It pisses me off a lot. I just found
So,
out
like,
recently that one of my coworkers went to Disney, right? And when they came back,
Oh, no.
this man's girlfriend
Not him.
tested positive for COVID. And he said, I don't think you have COVID because you've only been sick for a couple days, and I just think it's left over from when you had COVID before. She had COVID before over a year ago. It's not still
And
knocking
there was
around
just
her
a little,
system, you
there
know,
was just like a couple like things of phlegm that just needed to be knocked loose.
apparently. But I'm
Wow,
like, oh, I don't know, man. I think she probably did have COVID. And he's like, well, regardless, I didn't get sick. And I think it's because I'm vaccinated. And I'm like, she's not? I don't know, man. If I had it before, I would definitely make sure to get the shot so I don't get it again. Granted, didn't work out well for me. Oh, hey, actually, no, this reminds me.
The
You-
derailing of your own story within your story.
Well,
Let's
it's-
go.
Yo, man.
No, what do you got? What do
So
you got?
you work at you work
Yeah, just dox me.
with some
Address and
reasonably like forward thinking people.
Yeah.
At least one of the jobs. I don't know about the other one, but at the one.
At both, I'll say at both.
Okay, cool. That's very nice. The other day, me and my coworker, you may remember him, the guy that drank the weed hot chocolate.
Oh no, yeah.
So he and I were talking about like COVID because a little while ago, the basic rule is we'll take your word for it. A-okay, just don't touch people with your tongue is like the new rule from the CDC, you know? And we were talking about that, and our one coworker was like, that's how you can tell the whole thing was bullshit. And I'm like, I'm going to say that that's not true as someone who had it twice and like didn't exactly treat me the greatest. But I know a lot of other people who had it and so because this girl keeps like rolling her eyes at me and she's like, and did you have the shot in there? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, and I'm like, okay, stop this because my mom had it, you know, and it's been almost a year and she's finally getting her taste back, you know, like her sense of
Yeah, my
taste was
dad-
gone for a long time.
My dad has literally like 4 shots. Like he's got like the vaccination in both boosters, and he's got it 3 times, and he works alone.
Good Lord.
Like I don't know if this man is just like the COVID magnet, because like he literally
He
like his
is the
job.
20%.
There is an office that he goes into
Mhm.
briefly, and it's just like, hey, here's like paperwork or whatever, and then his job is basically like getting in his truck and driving out to like wells and water storage facilities and checking on like pH levels and for contaminants and water treatment. So he just does that completely alone, go into like the wells and
Yeah.
like not interacting with people, and he just keeps COVID. And I'm like, I don't know how. It's gotta be like, I don't know. You're just like touching too many doorknobs.
That's
But
that's incredibly unfortunate.
yeah, he's like been mostly fine, like mild symptoms, but
Yeah.
like it's just like the
Very bad luck.
nonstop lethargy.
Oh yeah. No, it's hard
It
to
just
shake the
won't-
lethargy.
Yeah, it just won't go away.
But yeah, I shit you not. After I tried to tell this person, nah, like it's serious. She literally tried to blame the vaccine on the fact that my mom's taste didn't come back. And it's just like, dude. It was just
Yeah, I mean, obviously she probably has the vaccine too because she's got no
Hmm.
taste. Hey,
you
yo.
may be surprised to
Um,
hear she does not.
I mean, how is that allowed? Like a state job?
Because we're not allowed to force people to do anything.
I think there should be light forcings of some things as a treat.
You know what? I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you at all. Unfortunately.
Hot take, I don't think it's fascism to be like, hey guys, we have to do something for the betterment of people around us that will like take nothing away from your personal life.
Hot damn. I can't believe it, Jackson. That's so controversial.
Maybe I'm just a rebel, you know?
On a happier front, I can feel my voice cleaning up the more we talk. I guess I actually just haven't spoken today.
I got some throat coat tea I've been drinking.
There you go. Got that throat
Pretty
goat
good.
tea.
The throat goat tea, the Nancy Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just clinked some glassware. You know what else I did this week?
Oh, what'd you do this
It was
week?
exciting. Yeah, for the last like 24 hours, I've just like basically laid stagnant in bed. Because the one thing, and I'm sure you can probably commiserate on some level about this,
Yeah.
that like there is nothing worse than being sick when you live alone.
Can definitely agree with that.
There's nothing more just like brutal than just being like, it's 3 a.m, my brain hurts, my body hurts.
And I can't ask
And
someone
I-
to make me a warm drink to try and recover from that.
Yeah, and if I want tea, I've got to get up, walk out in the kitchen, blind myself with lights, and then make it myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I mean, on the one hand, you don't have to worry about like it being 3 in the morning and be like, I'm just gonna watch a YouTube video for the next hour while I die.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, nothing sucks more than living alone and being sick. Cause I'm like, well, yeah, sorry. Cause I'm like, well, if I want food, I just have to go make it. And not cooking when you're sick sucks.
Dude, honestly, you end up making yourself the worst food that still tastes good because you kind of need it to, but it doesn't taste that good, and you know it doesn't taste that good. It kind of bums you out.
Yeah, like I had a can of chicken noodle soup. I was like, oh, I'll make that. It's a classic, coming in clutch. And I was like, this shit sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Campbell. Your shit is whack. I thought I would be about it because I remember being like a kid and like that was like the remedy. No, I am too refined for that now. I was just wildly disappointed by it.
That was honestly vaguely the experience when I was sick with COVID, since Nina and I were doing our best to maintain pure separation.
Mm-hmm.
I would hang out in the office all day, and then I would sleep on the couch at night, and neither of these things really were fun, you know? But I would also be making my own food because I didn't want to have Nina have to cook for me. And I just was like throwing together stuff that was like, I can't really taste that well. So I'm really hoping for the best, that this is like just some nutritious food that won't make me sick, I guess. And, you know, it's not fun. It's not fun at all.
It's not.
It is kind of fun staying up late watching YouTube when you don't have to worry about someone else being kept up with you, though.
That's fair. I mean, although honestly, like whenever Mari's in town, she sleeps like a boulder and always like goes to sleep before me and wakes up after me. So like,
God, what a mood.
I'll just be
Except
like, well,
sometimes I used to accidentally wake up Nina with Northern Lion videos because I'd have like Isaac playing to fall asleep. And I finally found an Isaac guy who like, so I can still have the music and sounds that I'm used to, but he doesn't talk, which, you know, keeps Nina from waking up when every now and then something happens. He just goes, "Oh no, what the hell is I'm supposed to do about that?" It's like, oh no,
that.
Ryan, please don't yell. I get it's Twitch.
I'll be watching some like Super Auto Pets videos or something, and like he'll just be like, "Oh," I'm like, "Oh, dude, come on, don't blow this for us."
Good thing, bad thing doesn't matter. He pogs out of his gourd for a minute there, and it's like, my guy, I need you to not.
I also watched the Wolf of Wall Street recently with some of my downtime.
I feel like that's a good movie to watch with your downtime.
Yeah, it's like 3 hours long.
Is it?
But
that
I thought it was
long?
pretty good. Yeah, it's fucking long as hell.
Oh God.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Nice. I remember having a good time with it. Good enough time, at least. And then I remember seeing a bunch of things later about how inconsistent the storytelling within the movie is, but that's an intentional thing. And I'm like, it was inconsistent.
He's a fraud.
Yeah, because he's a fraud, and he's also like smacked out on like hard drugs half the movie. It's like, yeah, you know, when there's scene inconsistencies, it's not the consistency department making a mistake. It's actually him telling the story wrong. And I'm like, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good movie. I feel like it's just one of those movies that unfortunately the discussion around it is just like starved for nuance. Like, you know, I feel like it kind of suffers from the classic of, oh, well, I watched this movie and the main character is a bad person, so that makes it a bad movie. It's all right, like, if the main character of a movie is a piece of shit. You just have to be, like, media literate enough to know that a main character does not mean a hero. Just means a main character.
Nina and I were just talking about that the other day because, you know, I'm sure you saw that really weird take about Blade Runner.
No.
Oh, so someone watched Blade Runner for the first time, and they're just like, how am I supposed to root for Harrison Ford? Like, he's the villain of the story, right? Like, why is this movie about the villain? Because why should I root for the man hunting the slaves who are trying to escape? That's kind of weird. And it's like, my guy, he's just the protagonist of the movie. It doesn't mean he's a good guy. He's just the protagonist, you know?
Yeah, like, I feel like sometimes people are like, but the story is told from their perspective, so they have to be the person I'm on the same side of. Like, no, I've had, you know how many people have like told me a story in my life and like they've been like talking to me and the whole time I'm like, dude, you suck.
Oh yeah. So
I'm
many
like, man,
times.
you suck so much. And they just sit there and talk to you and you're like, well, they gotta tell the story. And sometimes the people who tell the story are asshats.
Every now and then.
Yeah, I like The Wolf of Wall Street though. I think it was pretty good. I just definitely anyone who ever says they like Jordan Belfort or think he's cool is like a certified piece of shit. Because like
I'm
he
not
has
gonna
no
lie, I forgot that
redeemable.
was the name of the guy from Wolf on Wall Street,
Yeah.
or Wolf of. Actually, speaking of Wall Street, Nina and I have started
Hey.
watching Mad Men. Shout out
How
to
mad
Rob,
are
friend of
they?
the podcast, for encouraging me to watch it ages ago. I watched the first 3 episodes, had a blast, and then Nina wanted to watch 2, so I stopped. We finally picked it up. It took us finishing, I think, 4 serious shows in the meantime before we got here. Sons of Anarchy, Lost, Better Call Saul, and something else was in there. But I don't remember what it was, so maybe it was just 3 serious shows. But yeah, I'm having a blast with it. I literally cannot, every now and then you watch something that's super popular, right? And
Hmm.
sometimes you're like, wow, this is bad. And other times you're like, wow, this is good, I'm
Yeah.
watching this and I'm like, wow, this is good. But how is anyone coming away with the idea that Don Draper is a good man? Why do people act like he's a good person? Because he's so blatantly not. He's very clearly not a good person in it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's again, it's the same problem with The Wolf of Wall Street, where you've just got these people who are like, but he's the main character,
Mm-hmm.
or they're just willing to like disclose way too much about their own personal moral views by being like, yeah, there's a main character that's just like me, and you're like, that's just like you.
Honestly, like,
Like the most badass thing about Jordan Belfort is when he stole from people and hit his wife, because he got so much money though, bro. What color is his Lamborghini? Like, he punched his wife. That sucks.
yeah, shitty dude.
Like he had nothing except money. No swag even. And he like cheated on his first wife and then abused his second wife.
He's just like a really shitty dude. Like,
Yeah.
super shitty dude. And Mad Men is just about how shitty it was to live in the 50s. Like, the number of times it highlights, oh, see, the pregnant mom is smoking, she's drinking too, because she thinks that that's a good thing for the baby. But we all know that's not true. So you would look at that and be like, wow, that's not good. But then you watch Don Draper drink 17 beers and 3 double bourbons while trying to make his daughter's playhouse for her birthday. And it's like, this is a normal guy. This is a good man who's just doing what he needs to do. Like, hot damn, dude. It's a fun show. It's a great show, even. But you can't say he's a role model.
You know, the one thing I love though is when it's not on purpose. Like for like Don Draper, Jordan Belfort,
Mm-hmm.
they're bad people and they're supposed to be bad people and the show wants you to know that that's the case.
Yeah.
That they're manipulative sleazeballs. One thing I've always thought was kind of funny is I feel like an example of that was initially not supposed to make the person out to be like a huge sleazeball, but like a lovable sleazeball
Mm-hmm.
is Community. I feel like the first season of Community, Dan Harmon was like, yeah, people are gonna love Joe McHale's character, whose name I can't remember. Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff
Jeff
Winger.
Community.
Yeah, Jeff Community and Tim Dune.
Mm-hmm.
They're best friends. But I feel like there was at least some acceptance of the fact that like he wasn't a great person. But like I feel like it wasn't until like halfway through the season that Dan Harmon and the showrunners were like, oh yeah, even though he just like me for real, people think he sucks. So we need to either make him redeemable or lean into the shittiness and let everyone else shine with their weaknesses as well.
Mm-hmm. I think that's where it kind of came around, right? Because I did not finish the first season of Community. I watched it and I'm like, you know what? This is fine. This is kind of fun. I don't know that this show is for me. So I ended up giving up on it because
That's fair.
I don't know, it didn't press the right buttons for me. But if they,
Yeah, I'm definitely a fan.
what I understand is as the show goes on longer, they make it much more clear that no. You should not emulate this guy. He's not a good dude.
Yeah.
But it's still funny to watch him not be a good dude. Fuck Chevy Chase, though, who was actually just everything his character was supposed to be making fun of. That's not cool, man. Don't do that.
Yeah, it's super funny, like hearing about like Community, because it's basically just like Dan Harmon and Chevy Chase hating each other, and you're like, man, this is like Captain America: Civil War for shitbags. It's like two people who fucking suck beefing hard as hell, and I'm like, wow, whoever wins, it'll be funny.
Whoever wins, it sucks for us, but still.
Yeah, they fucking hate each other, and I hate both of them, so kind of works out. You ever watch Rick and Morty?
I did watch Rick and Morty.
Never watched it still.
Oh shit. I think I watched the first 2 seasons in their entirety with Dan. I don't know if Dan remembers this because it was a late night thing that we did. I came over to visit. We watched the entire first season in a night and maybe the second season the next day. But I had a good time with it, right? Like the show is not it's not bad. Like you got your edgy atheist scientist Rick going on, and boy howdy, there is a lot of get it, I'm smarter because I'm so skeptical and like just an asshole. But simultaneously, like it is definitely the fans that ruined that show. The show is just like dumb fun, and that's okay. It's all it ever means to be. And I mean, I hope that's all it ever means to be because it's definitely not making a legitimate, like, valid statement otherwise. But the show, it is fun. It's just a goofy little adult science fiction cartoon.
What's your favorite adult cartoon?
I gotta be honest, it's probably The Simpsons because that's what I grew up with. But I don't know. There's a lot of adult cartoons out there and they all kind of look the same, which is kind of shitty. And while I like having cartoons that will explore like more adult themes, I don't want that to mean, oh, so we're just going to say like the word
Peter.
sex a lot because that's what
Holy
people
crap,
want.
Lois.
Holy crap, Lois. I can't believe
Yeah,
you just
I-
had sex. Or whatever it is that he does.
So true. Yeah, I feel like I've never really had any kind of like attachment to an adult cartoon because I've still never watched any of The Simpsons. I've seen bits of Family Guy here and there, and I don't like hate it,
Mhm.
but I don't think it's that funny. I think it's it has kind of swung back around to being funny based on just how unfunny it actually is.
Jeff and I were talking about that once where it was like, you know, the funny thing about Family Guy is that some of the funniest bits that we were aware of hearing online turned out to be Family Guy jokes. But within the episode, the joke is driven into the ground so hard that it's not funny anymore because the show burns its own jokes out really intensely. Just kind of counting on people to come back and find them funny later anyway, you know?
See, I think for me, it's more about like the meta narrative of like Family Guy funny moments on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
which like I don't watch, but I think is the dumbest shit ever because just like, wow, this is like Family Guy sad moments. And it's just like, because they're so not funny or sad or impactful. It's so blasé.
Mhm.
Nothing means anything from Family Guy.
Yeah, it's just there. It's just
It's
kind of
just
there.
boring clip art.
And every now and then
That-
I'll see something that I laugh at. But,
But like, it's just boring clip art that millions of American men are like, I love it. You love it? It's your thing?
there are certain things that I don't think I'm ever going to be able to wrap my mind around why they're so popular, like so popular. And Family Guy has to be one of them.
Oh yeah, where it's like I saw a TikTok the other day that was like, oh, if women think that their boyfriends are all different, but really all of them are out here just watching Family Guy funny moments on YouTube.
So
and then
true.
there's like 5 million likes and like 10,000 comments that were like, OMG, dude, my boyfriend watches this all the time. And I'm like, what is going on under the surface over there? Men, are we okay? Are you guys really watching Family Guy funny moments on YouTube? Like, what?
Like, there's got to be
I thought,
something
like, that
better
was just
to
a
do.
meme. No, and that's what I mean, I would assume, but millions of men love Family Guy funny moments, genuinely, and not just as a funny thing to
No,
say.
yeah,
because
like with their whole chest, they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I love Family Guy funny moments."
and I watch those on YouTube all the time. That sucks.
Mm-hmm. No, high key
That's
sucks.
Me, I watch Northern Lion videos.
Exactly. They're so much better than Family Guy funny moments. I want to have a guy yell at me about my lack of understanding of basic statistics. Now that's funny.
I had a fever dream about One Piece last night.
Oh, actually,
feverish.
I also
sweaty.
had a dream about One Piece,
Yo,
but I don't
let's
watch
go.
One Piece. It was just Luffy was there, and he was selling me fish
Yo,
at like
that's so
the
kind
world's
of him.
worst giant eagle that you've never seen a worse giant eagle.
Why would?
And I was trying to haggle with him. I'm like, listen, buddy, can you cook it for me first? And then give me the cooked fish? And he's like,
That's
we
fair.
don't do that here. It's a grocery store. I was being a
That's
very
fair.
belligerent customer.
Yeah, you were at a grocery store. They don't usually cook the fish for you.
No, honestly. But what was
I
your One
had a
Piece?
dream where like I was just like in my dream really sick and just like laying there and I was like can Monkey D. Luffy even save me now? In my dream. And then like I woke up and I was like, what the hell is wrong with me? Yeah, it was insane. Also, I think I am slowly but surely wearing Nina down to watching One Piece.
Do you think so?
At least,
At least
A
as a
little bit.
background show?
and again, slowly, but I think it's getting there.
So slowly that if I mentioned it, for example, the answer would probably be Jackson would think that.
I mean, Nina told me. This was disclosed to me at work.
Oh, shoot. That's how you know it's real.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like if I was in like a hostage situation and they were like, we're gonna kill you, but you can call somebody for help, I'd be like, no need. I'm just gonna text all my friends and tell them to watch One Piece, and then when you kill me, they'll have to do it because they'll be like, wow,
The last
don't want to
thing
not
Jackson
honor his
texted
last
me.
wish.
Hey guys, I think it would be really cool if you watched One Piece with me. Just send that every day for like the next year and a half. And then you'll die and it'll be a 50-50 split of we gotta watch One Piece for Jackson, or finally the One Piece guy died. I can finally live my life.
It's like a curse. It's like the cabinet of Dr. Caligari, you know?
Oh, so true. The cabinet of Dr.
Thank you.
Caligari. Like, honestly,
Cinema.
the parallels
cinema.
between that and One Piece are borderline 1-for-1.
No, specifically what I'm referencing is a Portlandia bit about the cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Oh, I'm referencing a Jeff bit about.
Oh
the
yeah, it's
cabinet.
also a Jeff bit as well. But there's a Portlandia bit that's like, it's old enough in the show that Netflix was still DVDs. Like when
Mhm.
Netflix was, you get a DVD in the
Yeah,
mail.
I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, so like this was back when that era, and it's like the bit is that Fred Armisen is a mailman and he's delivering Netflix to this one woman, and he's like, "Hey, you gotta have you watched this movie? Have you watched this movie? Oh, you gotta check out this movie." And then like they're having like kind of a film bro off,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "But you gotta watch the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. It's like the ultimate of cinema." But it turns out when you watch the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, you then become cursed to be the mailman and try and convince other people to take up watching the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
That I love that. I love that
as
a lot.
soon as she watches it, he like takes off the mailman clothes and like gives them to her and like goes inside of her house. And then she has to be the mailman and try and get someone to watch it.
That's so funny.
It's a good bit.
That's
It's way
really
better in the
funny.
show than my describing of it, but my favorite thing about the podcast is we just describe other people's jokes that were better.
And we do
Right.
it in a
Holy
really
crap,
bad
Lois.
way that's like not funny.
Yeah. Holy crap, Lois.
Holy crap, Lois.
Quagmire. You're never gonna believe this.
Homer
They
strangling
hit the
Bart.
Pentagon.
They hit the Pentagon. Man, I walked into work on Sunday and my manager is there and she shouldn't be. So this is already a bad sign. And, I'm like, shoot, I don't know why she's here. Let's make the best of it. And the first words she says to me, I've been there for like 3 minutes now, chatting a little bit with the other guy. She's like, happy 9/11, by the way. And I'm just like, I laugh a little. I'm like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I apologize. But it's like, how are you going to say happy 9/11? How are you going to do that?
Yeah.
How are you going to say that and expect anyone to keep a straight face? I'm the only one that laughed because it turns out the other guy there, his dad died on 9/11, not the event, but like last year. So he's like, well, my dad died a year ago, so I'm a little bummed out about it. I'm like, holy shit. I just got told happy 9/11, and then I got another guy saying, well, my dad died on 9/11. Like, what the hell,
Happy
man?
9/11. It's such a funny thing because in America, the only people that will say that are like far right wing people or far left wing people.
And they mean the exact opposite when they say
They mean
it.
the exact opposite.
And I'm just like, if I were to see you on Sunday, I would have been like, Jackson, happy 9/11. And you would have been like, oh, thank you. But
I spent my whole 9/11 sick.
that's for making 9/11 jokes. Like, you get that. That's kind of what's coming to you.
That's fair. I had it coming. I mean, I need more of this throat coat tea, but I'm out.
Damn. Unfortunate.
Now, you live and learn,
Mm-hmm.
What are your overall thoughts on Sonic the Hedgehog?
On Sonic the Hedgehog, honestly,
Yeah.
I played oh geez, what was it? Let me double check before I say anything. I played Sonic Adventure Director's Cut.
I feel like we talked about this
And-
recently.
I have recently learned that Sonic Adventure is like, firstly, I would love to know what the difference between the Director's Cut is. Let's see. Let's see. Dr. Eggman is up to his old tricks again, but in this special Director's Cut version, There are a whole lot more of them to trip up Sonic and his pals. Get ready for 50 new adventures in an all-new mission mode.
Yeah, the
Oh my
director's cut
God.
is the circumcision. He has no foreskin in that one.
Oh, I see. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is either all the filler trash that was in it was director's cut content that they just used to fill it out, which makes
Oh
sense.
no. Have you ever watched like a long form anime that has filler before?
I watched JoJo's Part 3 and it has a lot of filler, in my opinion. But not true filler in the way that I know like Dragon Ball had.
Yeah, Naruto is really bad with filler too. Like there's times where it's just like 100 episodes of filler in a row.
I remember someone telling me you could almost get away with watching every other episode of Naruto because the opening catch up and the ending catch up is so heavy that
Oh, for sure.
you could just kind of fake your way through it up until you hit like an important arc, and then you can watch 1.5 episodes at a time.
Yeah, I feel like any weekly anime series kind of gets like that.
Mhm. Oh, you got
Well,
to
at least for
establish
me.
it where it's at because people aren't meant to sit down and watch it all at the same time.
Yeah, they kind of gotta establish just a little bit every week. But also it makes it easier on the animators, so they don't have to make as much content every week.
Yeah.
Because like I know when I watch One Piece, usually how they do it is it's like a theme song, and then like a recap, and then there's like a title card. So I usually just switch to the title, like I skip to the title card. So it's like 5 minutes into the episode,
Mhm.
then you just watch from there.
Back on the subject of Sonic, though.
Oh yeah.
I recently learned that people consider Sonic Adventure to be a terrible game, and I want to know what you have to say about that. I'm curious if you know anything about it.
I don't know much about it.
Ah,
I just
damn.
that was like one of the ones I never had. Cause I went from like the Genesis to like the like Sonic Heroes on the GameCube. I didn't get all the Sonic games on the GameCube,
Got it.
so I missed Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
Yeah, Sonic Heroes, I remember playing a little bit, but I definitely played Sonic Adventure all the way through twice, at least. And there's just like this really weird part where the story is being told out of order because you'll play through a good chunk of Sonic missions, but then if you go and you play as the other characters, it fills in stuff that Sonic is missing. But rather than just play the story through in like one clean line, the game's like, well, you're going to be locked out of completing any more of this storyline until you do the Knuckles line. Rather than just be like, okay, and we're going to swap your character around every time you need to.
That's kind of strange.
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember the name of the monster because there's this Chaos Emerald monster that is in the game.
Isn't that the water guy, the blue guy?
Yeah, and as Sonic, you fight him as level 1 and you just kind of kick his ass. But then you jump up and it's like whatever the guy's name is, V4 or something like that. And, you know, no big deal. If you play the other characters, you'll face versions 2 and 3. But instead, for Sonic, you just get to immediately jump up to a higher level monster. I don't know. Just kind of fun.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the Sonic games have really strange story structures that oftentimes in like the 3D Sonics, they focus on like several character perspectives, but they don't necessarily flesh them out in the best way possible. But I mean, that's kind of the thing with Sonic Heroes is a little bit better because it was just like every team had like their contained storyline.
Mm-hmm.
I remember playing the Sonic Advance games on the Game Boy. That was always a good time.
I don't think I ever played Sonic. That's the thing, right? I never played any of the side-scrolling Sonics. I only ever played 3D era Sonic. And it would seem from everything I've been able to understand is that 3D era Sonic was wildly hit or miss.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like 2D Sonic somewhat, but yeah, 3D Sonic was like half of the games are pretty good and half of the games are dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like side scrollers, it's like 80% are like pretty good and 20% are like, yeah, they're all right.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, the Sonic Advance on the Game Boy were like, those are really good. Just kind of buried titles because they were Game Boy exclusives.
Sonic Adventures on Crappy Games Wiki. Oh, that
No.
sucks.
It's like Sonic 06.
It was rushed, so it was glitchy. Managed to look worse than the original game, which was released in 98, even though it was released in 2003. Oh, I love this. I'm going to have to read through this because I think I'm going to enjoy this. Oh, the direction in the game was so terrible. Like,
I love
direction,
finding
the-
out a thing you like sucks.
right? It actually, unironically, I think is a good time because you'll sit there and be like, damn, I always loved this thing. I hope everyone else likes it.
That's how I felt about Star Fox Adventures.
Star
I was
Fox
like, I love
Adventures
this
is
game.
hated? You know what? No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
The dinosaur one, people fucking hate
Yeah,
it.
no, that makes sense. It's
get it.
fun.
It's
It's a
so-
bad Star Fox game, but it's a fun game. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's a fun game. It's a weird Star Fox game. Because you're like, why is he doing any of that? But who cares? That's a game I definitely want to play through again. Because I don't think I ever beat it when I was a kid. And I think that's partially because the game is slightly broken and very janky, so it's really hard to like figure out what you're supposed to do and where you're supposed to go.
Yeah, that was the same issue with the Sonic game too. There's not a lot of, when I said bad direction, I mean bad directions through the levels. It's just easy to get lost.
Yeah, Star Fox Adventures was kind of like that too. Like there was just, it was so open world but so nondescript, and I was a youngin' and didn't really know how to access a world like that. But I feel like as an adult I could do it. Maybe.
I bet you can. I mean, I would hope
That's so
so.
you had
It
that
was a
little-
game made for
You had that
children.
little like Triceratops dog. No, it was rated T for teen. It was also one of those games I got as a kid from like GameStop for like $7 because it was that bad and unpopular. But for me, that just meant it was accessible.
Mhm. I don't know why I never bought that one because I had fun with it when I played it, but I never had time to finish it because I could only play it when friends were over because they would bring it with them. I don't know. What other games do I remember really loving that were actually really terrible?
Yeah, I mean, Star Fox Adventures is definitely like my holy grail in that, where like I loved it. Like it was one of my favorites,
Mhm.
and then everyone like hated it. So like my expectation, like my IMDb review would have been like 9.5,
Mhm.
and the average was like 3.
Oh, damn.
So like, and I loved it. I gotta have some other examples on there too. But a lot of the games I played when I was a kid were just like bargain bin games.
Yep.
So like Spyro Enter the Dragonfly I really liked, but that's apparently just like by most people considered one of, if not the worst Spyro games of all time.
No.
But it was the only one I had.
Spyro Enter
And
the
that was another one of those games I
Dragonfly.
don't think I ever finished because it was super janky and broken. But as a kid, I feel like they made it like mysterious to me.
I feel like a lot of stuff about bad games can sometimes feel like maybe you're just not good enough to play it right.
Hmm.
Because I know I definitely thought that about a few things where I'm like, well, yeah, I'm bad at it, but like, that's my fault.
Yeah, that's how I felt with like Star Fox Adventures and Spyro Enter the Dragonfly. I was like, I can't figure this out, but I'm sure it's just because I'm a kid and I'm not very good at the puzzles.
Mhm.
But then like as an adult, it's like, oh no, that area is just broken. Like it doesn't work.
Right? Like, what do you call? There were some puzzles in Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess that I had a couple of issues with. You know, you step forward, you have two statues that step forward style puzzles, and you have to
Yeah.
guide them through a maze to get to the other side, but there's different blockages for each of them. I was very bad at that. And that is a puzzle that is, oh, I was a child, I just wasn't good at it. You know, that's an example of I was just too young for whatever the thing was. Broken maps are not the same.
No, not at all. I feel like that's another one was like with Pokemon games when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
There is an ice cave towards the end of the Generation 2 games, Gold and Silver, that like as an adult is not that hard to navigate.
Mhm.
But as a kid, I remember being trapped in there for like hours trying to get to the final gym because I just couldn't figure out the puzzles. But then as an adult, you can just brute force it. You don't even have to like think about it. But as a kid, I like thought about it so hard and just couldn't do it right.
I feel like I remember having that issue with like, now, gigantic asterisk. Morrowind is a hard game to play because it is not exactly well done. I'm not going to sit here and jerk it off and be like, actually, if you hate Morrowind, you're dumb. Yeah, I get it. Morrowind is not that great, but I really liked it. But there were a lot of things that I had no idea how to get through because, God, dude, holy shit, the game is not player friendly.
Yeah, I remember trying to play Morrowind when I was younger, and it ended up being one of the situations where, for whatever reason, I couldn't attack. Like, I couldn't make contact with enemies.
Because every
And I
hit is
just-
on a dice roll mechanic.
Yeah, and I just, like, spawned in, and then kept dying to, like, grubs,
Yep.
and I couldn't hit them.
The Quarma Foragers. It's, because here's the other issue, is you also have what are they, the Skritters or whatever, the little, like, centipede-looking guys, they paralyze you. So, like, when you only have 40 health points at the beginning of the game, there's not a lot you can do.
I mean, it is been documented that I am in fact a hater of the Elder Scrolls,
Mhm.
but
Every now and then, right now, for example, I am downloading Morrowind to try and do it again. Let's bring back my love of the game, and maybe this time I'll find a mod that will stabilize the game enough that I can run it. Because it can't run in widescreen. It doesn't know how. But I can't run it in windowed
Jesus.
mode because if you tab out of the game freaks out and crashes. Which is honestly doubly funny because I used to tab out of the game all the time on my parents' computer when I used to play because I cheated and I used to spawn in items. The best way to
How
do
could you
that, by the
cheat?
way, was to just mod a chest into the house that I would steal at the beginning of the game because one of the first quests involves you killing somebody. And since no one can enter or exit buildings, you basically just get to live in his house. So I'd steal his house and I would just have a chest modded in there that has like extra money and things like that so that I wouldn't have to always fight my way back to the top. I only finished the
See,
game once.
I don't know if we've been over this before on the podcast,
Mhm.
but I was never allowed any kind of mods or like Game Shark or anything like that when I was a kid
Mm-hmm.
because my parents thought it was cheating, and cheating is a sin.
Yes.
So like I couldn't have rare candies on Pokemon because that's a sin.
Wait, rare
But like
candies weren't those like base parts of the game? Like not even modded
no,
in?
like I couldn't have like the thing to get you like 900 of them.
Oh, okay. That's very funny.
Just like trying to be like, no, it's like it's not. That's not how that works at all. Because this is just a game. It's not like I'm cheating anyone real. It's just a game.
Mm-hmm. The only person you're cheating is yourself out of the satisfaction of a job well done.
So true. But mods not so much because wasn't even able to access mods until I was older.
Mhm.
But like I've never been a mods fan. I just like it has to be only a few that are just quality of life that I'm really all right with.
There are a few things that I really do enjoy on mods, but I don't. I mean, we've been over this many times that if a game needs mods to be good, maybe it's not a good game. I want to be able to play the games by themselves because sometimes mods are just quality of life fun stuff that I really enjoy.
Yeah, if it's like, oh, this allows you to zoom out further on the map, I'm like, oh, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, like just
But,
like
like-
little things, like stuff like that. Love it. No qualms.
There's a lot of
Let's
good
do it
quality of
all
life
the
mods in
time.
like XCOM.
Oh my god, XCOM is one of those games that needs mods just to make it a little more fair, I feel like.
Well, I'm not like turn based, but like mods like how the map and camera works. Like map and camera mods in XCOM are really good.
Mm-hmm.
But like I don't know, I just always take problem with like nothing to me in the world is less funny than like, hey, look, it's your sword is a penis. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not really like sure, wow, really good one.
It's like, damn.
Of course it is because you made it that.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, hey, look, the dragons are Thomas the Tank Engine. I'm like, this is the most boring thing I've ever seen in my life.
I think that a lot of stuff like that is fun. Like, I'm not going to pretend it isn't fun, but it's only fun for a little bit. Like, they get boring. I put all the mud crabs I put in top hats, but you could adjust the frequency. So it wasn't every one of them in top hats. It was just like many
pretty
of
funny.
them in top hats. And I'm like, you know what? Every now and then I just get a guy who's in a top hat. This is funny. Let's do that. And it was good. And I did it. But I also don't want to mod in my ally who I can also marry, who can kill everyone in one hit. I don't want the ebony warrior who wears ebony plate mail everywhere and one shots everyone and has a 900,000 weight limit that they can carry. That's not fun. I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
no,
wanna
I remember
earn my victory.
I remember our friends, one of them who is now,
Yeah.
in jail.
God.
And playing Dead Island.
Yeah.
And that's one of those games that's one of those games that's ass.
Oh, yeah.
But I also really enjoy it.
It's God, the grind in that game is just miserable. And it's so
ass.
poorly optimized for PC. Like you'll still have, you know how some of it was like swing the control stick left and right to wiggle a door open?
Yeah.
You'd have to do like ASD DSA to try and mimic the sway of a round control stick interaction. Oh God.
That's pretty funny.
There's a lot of bad stuff. Or move the mouse forward and backward to jam your way through a door. And it's like, why are you doing this to me? This doesn't work.
Yeah, it's one of those games that I realize is ass, but I had a soft spot for it.
I would love to play it again and enjoy it. You know, like there's no world that I
It's a
think
really
I
fun
would
time.
not enjoy it playing it again in the right settings.
But there's also like our mutual friend, or not friend at all
Oh
anymore,
yeah,
but you know,
the guy we
mutual
both
person we
know
knew.
who is thankfully put away right now.
Yeah. Anyway, I remember would like always getting modded weapons that were like it's a shotgun that you never have to reload because it has a billion shells already loaded in, and they all do 1,000,000,000,000 damage.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, I don't
There's
know.
no fun
Then
with that.
we would play online, and he would just kill everything in a building in one shot, and then be like, "This is awesome," and be like, "No, it wasn't that awesome." And then we would like walk quietly because there's nothing to do for like 5 minutes, and then do it again.
Like, I don't know, man. It's fun to collect things. Like, now, all this being said, when playing Dragon Age Inquisition, have no time to collect all the resources I need to, and I will sometimes mod in the stuff that I want. I will lie and cheat and steal. I'm not going to pretend I don't. But, like,
Sinner.
in that game specifically, I'm also playing it online as a stream game. And does anyone want to watch me go around and collect more resources across the map every single time I log in? Or do they want to watch me play story stuff? I don't think anyone wants to watch me trudge my way through the map trying to get things. At least I hope not. God, that would be boring.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of those things that like I don't know anything about Dragon Age, and I've never played it.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that's the kind of cheating where it's like, yeah, it's cheating, but it's just a time saver for you. It's a quality of life
It's
cheating.
the same as there's real-time missions that are done at the battle map or the war table, I'm sorry, in the war room. You send real time is spent on completing missions. Or you can install the mod that makes all the missions end immediately. So you start the mission and you finish it. Which,
Yeah, and again, that's like just kind of a quality of life improvement.
the first time you played the game, yeah, it was fun choosing who gets to go out on what missions because you only have a limited number of things to do. But after you finish the game the first time playing it the right way, God, it's so boring. Don't do that again. It's like,
Exactly. But once you've suffered, then you can reap the
yeah,
rewards.
like I would say that it's maybe not even the first time go through the whole way, but like play the game normal once. Not the whole one, but most of it. And you'll have a lot of fun with that. In my opinion, you'll have more fun than if you fixed it for yourself right from the get-go. You know, that's
Yeah, I feel
everyone's
like
preference.
those are the kind of games. I feel like I should at some point probably play a Dragon Age game. I just don't know that I got the time for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a commitment, right? They're like they're slogs, kind of, aren't they?
There,
Like
what's
the playtime in hours?
Let me double check.
And also, what's the combat like?
Well, that's the funny thing, right? So Dragon Age Origins, to fully complete the game, like 100% it, could take about 100 hours, but the average playtime is about 40 hours, maybe a little longer.
Okay.
The second game, probably the same. The second game, 27 hours. And Inquisition, which is the third game, is about, I'm going to guess 36, but the page isn't loading. 46 and a half. So the third game
Okay.
is longer than the original. And the second one has so many reused dungeons. It's just really easy to run through it. But
How do you fight though?
well, that is the problem. All three games are different. The first one is, what is it? Baldur's Gate. There's a D&D game. And the studio that made the D&D game had a sequel, but they didn't get to make it the sequel to the D&D game. So instead they made Dragon Age. So it's almost an exact clone of, I'm pretty sure it's Baldur's Gate, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm not looking it up. It's not important.
No, Baldur's Gate is a D&D game.
It's top down and it's turn-based, but live action. So you can queue up events or queue up moves. Did you ever play Knights of the Old Republic?
No.
Okay, so you have like a small queue in Dragon Age of like moves that you can queue for your character to do. And you can jump around your 3 or 4 allies and queue moves for them to do as well. Or you can take the time to sit down and program their AI how you want them to act in combat.
Gotcha. And is that Dragon Age Origins?
Yes, that is Dragon Age Origins. And then in Dragon Age 2, it's a much looser style of combat. It's basically third person MOBA stuff where left click is your base attack and you can just click and go, and then you have some powers that you can use. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's Dragon Age Inquisition, where you just kind of left click your way through things, but also you sometimes have powers to use. Dragon Age 2 is 50% between queuing attacks in a live action turn based and 50% just kind of going.
So I do remember now why I haven't played Dragon Age, because it does look and sound like something I would enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
It's because it's an EA game, and if you like buy it, you have to do a whole bunch of shit that I don't really want to
Is
do.
it making an online account?
Yeah.
Because of the EA servers shutting down, there's a lot of weird little things that are like locked out of features that people have made third-party workarounds because you can't log into their servers anymore. So the game doesn't update your online achievements anymore. And also because of that, it doesn't transfer files between games well, because it is a continuous story through all 3 games. Well, soon 4 games, hopefully. And
Ooh.
by the time you get to the second game, there's a lot of choices that don't port over properly. So there is a mod that is the Dragon Age 2 file like opener, whatever. It sets you up properly with the right save file to bring over from Dragon Age Origins, allegedly. And then in Dragon Age Inquisition, they did away with that whole thing, and there is an entire website devoted to mapping out every path you can take through the game to set your world state in Dragon Age 3. And that's how they're going to make Dragon Age 4 work, is an online guiding map.
Huh. Interesting. It sounds kind of fun, though. I feel like, again, it's one of those like game series that I feel like I would enjoy if I just had the chutzpah to do it, to get around to it.
Yeah, the other issue is that it doesn't play well on PC anymore, because it doesn't know how to handle the extra processing power. So you do need to also go into its settings and turn off using multiple cores of your CPU. Otherwise, the game will crash because it is overloading itself with the amount of information it can preload.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. It's wild. They have talked about a remaster, but the problem is that if they remaster the game, they really should just build it again from the ground up, because the game does just need a lot of fixing. But why would they go through all that trouble?
Yeah, why fix it when it works well enough-ish?
Well, it doesn't, but why fix it when they could just release the new game?
That's fair. Good for
a
them.
lot of people were bummed out that Mass Effect got a remaster before Dragon Age did, because people are begging for more Dragon Age content. But in my opinion, the Mass Effect remaster went over well enough that they might actually do Dragon Age now, because there's actually a possibility that people will play it.
Yeah, I feel like it's on my my radar. And who knows, maybe if they give like a release date for the next game and I got nothing going on at the time, maybe I'll put some play into it.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's a pretty good end to the gaming conversation. Given the time, I suppose it's probably.
I was thinking the same thing. No more games.
Time for me to get some
no
more
more
tea.
podcasts. Time for tea and enjoying our lives.
Ghosts.
Thanks for waking up my voice so I can speak again. Greatly appreciate it.
I'm working on it.
Thanks for listening, everyone. See y'all again next week. Hopefully we'll have nailed a better recording time down and we can have Dan too. Knock on wood.
Woo.